Hello guys and welcome to another video. So today we are going to be speaking about probably one of my most commonly asked questions, and it's aimed a little bit more at the beginners of the sport of slalom skiing, this one. So it's learning how to hold your position through the wakes at those slower speeds. So kind of 43 kph and below when those wakes are super big, they're trying to trip us up, and maybe we haven't quite learned and set that foundation of how to stand on our ski yet. And most of all, this kind of part of skiing where we're really learning to cross those wakes is all about building confidence, doing it safely, and learning how to set that proper position. Okay, so I want to start this video with going over some of the mistakes that I see most commonly when people are either trying to really dial in those wakes and having a hard time at the slower speeds, or with people who are just trying to learn. Okay, so first of all, the biggest problem usually is people are trying to take too much speed and too much angle when they're not ready for it. This comes from being too wide and rotating too much out of the turn, which, as we know in all the other videos, these two things give us speed, okay? That means we hit those wakes with way more speed than we're ready with, and it just either knocks us out of position and we either take a crash and lose our confidence, or we just can't hold our angle and our speed, which makes the course super tricky, okay? And in this video, I'm talking about those 3 steps of how I like to go about it. So starting from a narrow width, adding a little bit more width that gives us space from the wake, and then adding in angle that then builds us up to that finish point, okay? But I'd first like to say, why is it important that we hold our angle and we hold our position through those wakes, and the reason why we have to take these 3 steps and really build up this foundation, okay? So if we're not holding that angle, our ski is gonna flare like this, so it's gonna go flat on the water. And if we've got too much speed here, this creates a lot of surface area into the wake, okay? If we're holding that edge, it almost slices like a knife through butter. But if we're flat, it's like a spoon. It's just gonna hit that wake and sky us, okay? And this is where crashes happen, and this is why it's really important to be building into that wake so we're in a position where we can slice through those wakes, use our little knees and ankles like springs, and suck up those bumps. But that sounds super simple in effect, but how do we actually do this, okay? So the first thing I want to attack is start narrow, start close to those wakes, okay? The more speed you have, the more out of control that you're going to be, and like I said earlier, control and confidence is key. We want to stay away from these crashes at this starting point, okay? So we're going to set out just outside the whitewash. So the white foam on the side of the wakes that you see, start just outside of it. Imagine we have arrows pointing all the way down our body, starting at our ski. So the tip of your ski is pointed into a nice arrow conveniently just for this. So get that arrow pointing across course, not much. So if you're the boat, we're pointing it just left or right of the boat. So again, we're trying to reduce speed at this point. We're just trying to get the feeling of holding our edge and holding our strong position across those wakes. If you don't know what that is, go check out my other videos on power and position. Yes, they're for a little more high-end skiing kind of thing, but the same fundamentals are all the way through skiing. We want to have our hips stacked on top of our feet, and we essentially want to just stand tall, okay? We're not going to be getting into big lins at this point. That's a long way down the road. We want to just stand tall and really make sure that we're not letting those hips sag back and put pressure on our lower back, okay? And once you feel like you have this completely down, the wakes are not affecting you at all, you're moving over them nice and calmly, nice and controlled, and feeling super confident with it, that is when we start to move our width a little bit out, okay? So just at most half a meter, every time you feel comfortable, you can just take it a little bit wider, stopping at about 2 meters outside of that whitewash, okay? This is a good stopping point. It gives us space from the wake so that we can turn and we can set in, but it's not giving us too much speed and not giving us too much time to kind of accelerate into that wakes, so we can keep in control and we can keep nice and safe. And again, once you feel like you are super comfortable here, no matter how many reps you've done, make sure you're feeling confident. We're gonna not go any wider here. You've got that space from the wake. We're at that nice width where we have room to move. Now we're gonna try rotate a little bit more through the finish of the turn, okay? And simply put, we're taking all of those arrows and we're gonna, instead of putting it to here, we're gonna just go maybe 10 degrees more, 5 degrees more. And then we start to build up that angle. So again, it's putting emphasis on holding our angle and holding our position through those wakes. We're going to start to get more speed with this because, as we know, angle means speed and acceleration. That means we're going to get a little bit more kind of upwards feeling on that wake, but don't be afraid. As long as you move slowly and just keep moving up with these little steps, it shouldn't be too big of a difference and we can feel comfortable with that feeling. And this last step is going to be just to start building up that confidence, adding a little bit more angle here, adding in that little bit of width. Be methodical with it, okay? If you feel in control, go, okay, I feel like I've smashed this now. Start to change one, add width, add angle, maybe mix and match the two, and really kind of push those limits and those boundaries. Hopefully you're feeling really confident on that ski. So if you get a little bit more speed than you're comfortable with, you know how to adapt and you know how to manage with it. And you know just how important that it is to hold that position so that when we attack that course, we know exactly where we're going and you will be able to run that course for the first time. So just as a final capping off point to this video, I do want to obviously mention that I'm only really focusing on two main points in this video, which is holding that position and holding the angle across the wakes. Obviously this is a very general guide and these two positions will really help you, but there is lots of other things that come into this, and that is where coaching comes in to help you kind of individualize it a little bit. But focusing on these 2 points, holding that strong position and holding that angle, will really, really help you build up to crossing those wakes with enough speed to run the course if that is your goal, or to just be a little bit more comfortable crossing those wakes when we are free skiing. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it made sense and I hope that it helps a few people get a little bit more comfortable with your wake crossings. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. And if you have any other video ideas or any videos that you would like to see, please drop me a comment or a message. And I'd love to get on with that. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.